The big news of the week, and actually it's kind of been the last 2 weeks, I guess, is Stit's corruption. It's got a hint of smoky mesquite flavor on it now. The Swadley's Barbecue Foggy Bottom Kitchen Scandal, I guess is what they're calling it. It's a mouthful. But yeah, I mean, basically what this story comes down to, if you somehow haven't heard it, is that Swadley's got a very generous contract for building and running some of their restaurants at state parks. You know, I have sort of mixed feelings on like the outcome of it, because like I do think investing in our parks is like important, but I don't know if like giving tens of millions of dollars to, you know, a private person who also happens to be like a GOP donor and supporter is how we should do it. Because like I saw going around today that Swadley's there was a big fundraiser at a local event center in Oklahoma City for the Georgia Senate races last year, and Swadley's provided the barbecue for it. So it's obvious that they're like kind of on the inside angle here.
I what was it, like $17+ million
Yeah, I mean the
that
total
they fucked the
contract was
bag up on.
almost 20 million.
Sorry. I mean, my thing is like this. It's like, we constantly keep talking about like, how do we pay for this government program? How do we pay for that government program? And this government that we have is constantly misspending our tax dollars. They're constantly putting money into ventures that isn't exactly going to work. And I mean, the Swadley $17 million screw up is a symptom of a larger issue, right? Like, we want to go ahead and put money into the pockets of people who will play nice with us. I mean, it's just like that one, I don't know how many $1 million tax incentive that we were trying to do to the Panasonic to try and get them to come here.
Yeah, I mean that one's a huge deal. Like, and there's no transparency around what all we're getting for that.
As far as I'm concerned, the state of Oklahoma, who under a conservative administration, who anytime there's like a Democrat or a left person on the side, they always ask the following questions: how are you going to pay for that program? Well, maybe I could start talking about how we don't waste my friggin' money. Number two, how exactly how are we going to balance the budget? I don't know. You tell me instead of about money. And number three, why is it that we're putting money into more like private contractors that literally can't even do the freaking job? I mean, $17 million is no joke. If you keep talking about like how education is constantly underfunded, we don't have enough money for mental health programs, we don't have enough money for public transportation. I mean, you're just wasting my money. Republicans, a conservative government, continues to waste my money.
Yeah, and so just for people that don't know what the story is on that, there's so many like things here. So I mean, one is just the fact that they got this sort of like guaranteed contract where they got paid to remodel, they got paid profit on that, which is sort of normal, but like they were the only vendor that got picked. Then they got paid for losses. So like even if the restaurants weren't doing well, they got paid regardless to cover their overhead and make a profit. So I mean, these deals aren't uncommon in government. They're just very sweetheart deals, and I'm very skeptical because they were like early on they were saying that Swadley's was the only one who bid on this, but I'm very skeptical other restaurant groups wouldn't have put in a bid if their losses were guaranteed to be covered. You know, like people don't bid on things because it's a bad deal or it's not their wheelhouse or whatever, but you know, a thing where the government's going to guarantee you make a profit, nobody's not going to bid on that. So it's just sort of obvious that it was an inside deal. But what's crazy, it came out, and shout out to Frontier, I think broke the initial story, and then Fox 25 did some like dynamite follow-up. They found a fire marshal report from August of 2020 where basically the fire marshal of the state, who regulates buildings in unincorporated areas. So like most buildings are regulated by city ordinance, you know, so you have to meet a minimum standard that the state sets, but cities can set a stricter standard for building codes or for whatever. But, somebody has to sign off on shit and say, like, yeah, you installed that right. Or, you can't cover up the sprinkler head with, like, a light fixture or something because it won't do what it's supposed to do. So anyway, this guy, random Agent BB of the Oklahoma State Fire Marshal's office, files a report basically where this guy threatens him with, like, calling Stitt, like, I'm gonna call daddy on you. And this BB guy is just like, look, like, you're in violation. Like, you gotta meet building codes. Like, sorry, bud. And so anyway, the whole Fox 25 story, it's insane. Like, it's a 4-page fire marshal report where basically they act like they're above the law and that, like, they don't know about building permits. Like, I am a very small scale developer right now, and even I know about building permits and know that you can't just build shit and not get it permitted. That's not how anything works. So anyway, yeah, it's like corruption plus incompetence plus we're paying you a ton of money to act like you're above the law. So it's a really bad deal. And in the fire marshal's report, so it's like, this is before Hoffmeister announced, before we were in an election year, before all that, points out that Swadley is calling out Stitt, like saying that, hey, this has more politics than you'll ever know or something like that, and calls out Stitt by name, says, like, this is, like, straight from the governor's office. So, this is your classic pay-to-play corruption scandal, and these dummies are, like, literally to government officials saying, like, hey, the man at the top's in on this, so go take it up with him. It would be funny if it wasn't so corrupt. So anyway, yeah, this thread on Twitter, I think we retweeted it. It's wild. It has all 4 pages of the report. Wayne Stafford, really did some journalism here. And then they reached out to Gino DeMarco, who's over, I believe, that, like, tourism department and several other things. Like, he is somebody deeply connected to Stitt in all the ways. And the interview with DeMarco shows him, like, trying to kind of dive on the grenade, but not really doing all that great a job of it, being like, Stitt's called out by name in this report, but, like, he had nothing to do with it. Nothing. So anyway, yeah, big scandal. Check it out. Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.